They must have hit that K dot. It was like they not like us.
Is to see Bud fight Fundora because I'm really intrigued by that matchup.
I mean, he's a champion. He's got to be ready. Even if we think he is or not, he's got to be ready.
They're just guys that Tiffany knows. Once you're in this boxing game, you're going to keep bumping into these same guys that are in this business.
But I think that he learned something about himself that night, which I think will carry forward in the future.
Welcome, everyone, to a very exciting episode 113 of the Standing 8 podcast. We have in the stream tonight a very special guest. But before we get into that, with me are my usual suspects: Tiffany Daniels, First Lady of Boxing, and also from abroad, Courtney the Burp Brown Sugar Tanner. Welcome, welcome, team. But about our very special guest, to just call him a professional boxing coach will be an understatement. His resume spans 30 plus years that consists of a reputable amateur background with multiple national titles, including being the only American to win gold at the 1999 Pan American Games, a solid undefeated run professionally as a super featherweight, and to this day being looked upon as a revered boxing coach who has worked with the likes of Adrien Broner, Floyd Mayweather, Claressa Shields, Raynell Williams, Dante Strayhorn, Jamel Herring, to name a few off the top. Everyone, please welcome the one and only Coach Gerald Tucker, Senior, aka Coach GT. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate the consideration.
Awesome. So I want to start off this episode to the present day of your progressing story in the sport as a boxing coach, a career in which you transitioned to in 2013. Today, you are the owner of Camp of the Greats, a boxing training facility in the beautiful, scenic Costa Rica, and we're kind of seeing a nice glimpse of it in your backdrop. So my first question off the top, what inspired you to open a boxing training facility specifically out there in Costa Rica?
It wasn't a plan. It kind of just happened. After I knew I was gonna move somewhere out of the country, and I wanted to just move away from Miami. I was living in Miami for the last 4 years. Before that, I was in Vegas for about a decade, and I just wanted a breath of fresh air from the States, and so I picked like 13 different countries: Dubai, London. I picked Amsterdam. I picked a whole bunch of different places, a bunch of different cities in different countries, and I ended up deciding to come to Costa Rica first, and I loved it after I got here. And the camp kind of came later. You know, I like I say, I did not plan on this. It just kind of happened, to be honest.
You know, you must have had some hurdles on the logistics getting this set up. You want to give us some highlights of how that whole process came about? I guess getting the deeds down, the blueprint down. Any highlights from that experience? Building that up.
I think it kind of like it was already written. You know, without me even knowing. I used to call myself Mr. Miyagi not too long ago, and now it kind of seemed like it's fitting right into my nickname. You know, I'm up here all by myself at the top of a mountain. We're like 3,000 feet up. There's no neighbors. You know, there's 30 acres away, I got a neighbor. Another 30 acres away, I got another neighbor. And it's just peace and quiet. And it's like the perfect environment for this kind of facility where you can get away from the chaos and, you know, really lock in and grow as a fighter, as a trainer, or as an individual. But as far as the details went, the house kind of like, or the house is, because I have this big house here that I call the dojo as part of the gym. But there's 3 houses, so I got 2 guest houses on property as well, where fighters can stay, or trainers can stay, or sparring partners can stay. And but the way it's set up, it was just perfect. So I was just sitting here, you know, enjoying my new home, and I was like, man, this kind of looks like Mr. Miyagi's place. You know, I could turn this into somewhere where somebody could really get some great, you know, the science behind the boxing. And I just slowly started, you know, seeing things and started adding things. And now here it is. It's a full training camp. And We had our first visitor that came. Shout out to Sam, Sugar Ray Sam.
I saw the video.
Yeah, he was our first visitor, and it was a success, man. And I can't wait to have more people to come check it out.
And I saw that video, as I said, and I saw I felt the excitement as he was recording his as he entered the place for the first time. How did that make you feel? Seeing his genuine like reaction, like a kid at the candy store. Can you explain that feeling from your end?
Yeah, for me it was I had already seen it, before he even got here. I kind of put myself when I was creating it. I was putting myself in like as I was first starting out as a 15-year-old when I first originally started boxing. I'm walking into this situation. It'd be like he said, a kid in the candy store, a dream come true. And he said he had goosebumps and stuff. And I had the same things, as I was had the same feelings and emotions as I was creating it, and and imagining it. And so I kind of already knew that it was going to be that him and anybody else who comes up here, they'll have the same emotions running through their body, and mind. That this place is special, and it's like they're entering into a movie. As soon as they even land, before they even get on the plane, their movie starts. And it's gonna feel like one, while on the plane when you land, arrive, and then you get in the car that picks you up with the Camp of the Great sign, and then the driver drives you up to a certain point. And about 20 minutes before you get here, I make the driver blindfold the passengers.
Ooh.
And they feeling the rocky roads, and they don't know where they are, and they go from city to nothing. And then when they take the blindfold off, it's like, wow, I'm up here, and it's kind of nervous, but I'm in a movie, so I'm about to make the best out of this movie. So yeah, it was just kind of like confirmation that I wasn't far off with my creating, and then also my imagining how people are gonna receive it.
That's awesome. I have more questions coming up, but I want to kick it off to Tiffany. Tiffany, you want to start off with your questions that you may have with Coach GT? Go ahead, Tiffany.
Hey man, I'm excited because y'all already know, like, Cincinnati is in the house, baby. That's why I get this red shirt. I get this red and white shirt on for the Cincinnati Reds. But I guess what people need to understand is your story, because you started late, like 15, and your amateur pedigree is not like how it should have been. Like, considering somebody that starts at 15, and like I'm thinking my son, he started 15. He ain't doing none of that. It's not about to happen. Like, he got to be like special. So I want you to tell people like how you got started, like how your story went, like how'd you get into boxing and all the things you was able to accomplish.
I got started in boxing at age 15. I was pretty much into baseball. I did a little everything. I played snare and the bass drum and band in middle school, and then in high school. I played baseball. I was real good at it. We win a trophy every year for playing team participation, but I won Defensive Player of the Year. I want to say 2 years out of the 4 or 5 total that I played. So I was really good. I just wasn't a big hitter, but I'm gonna get on base and I'm gonna steal and I'm gonna catch every ball that's hit to me. But yeah, so my grades started dropping. My mom kicked me off the baseball team and said I couldn't do any sports until my grades got back up. And she worked right up the street at the I forget the name of the company, but it was a beer company. I think it was called Hudipole before they changed it to something else. But and she would get off like 5 o'clock-ish, and I would sneak to the boxing gym with a good friend of mine who lived in the same project as me, Raynell Williams Jr. He was one of the best amateurs ever in the history of the sport, and he was forecasted to surpass everybody, like the Roy Jones and the Oscar De La Hoyas and Sugar Ray Leonards, and but things didn't turn out that way. But we started. I started sneaking to the gym with him, and that was at the Finley Street neighborhood house in the West End, downtown of Cincinnati, the worst neighborhood there is, and probably in the world. But so I started sneaking to the gym with him, and I started to like it, and I got real good real fast, and I started to pick up my grades in high school. I believe I was in the 10th grade, 9th or 10th grade around that time, and going to Tab High School. That was the Cooley High of Cincinnati. That was the worst school you could pick or you go to. You had to deal with all kind of stuff. So I started picking my grades up, and then I came to my mom and I said, "Mom, I've been sneaking, to the gym, but I'm getting real good at it. Look at my grades." And she was satisfied with my grades, and she allowed me to continue to box. So that's how I started.
Okay, so when you said you got real good real fast, I need you to explain to people what that means. Like how good and how fast.
I'm a like one of those. A lot of people are, they're multi-talented. I can do a little bit of everything: ping pong, shoot pool, pinball, wash dishes. You name it, I could be good at it and great at it if I wanted to be. And so within 4 months, I was ranked number 3 in the United States, and then I want to say 6 weeks after that, we had the fight in the box off, and where the top 4 in the country had to come. And I lost in the finals in a real controversial decision, which I tell the truth. If I lost, I lost. If I won, I won. If it was close, it was close. I really won that fight, so I would have been ranked number 1. And that's in 6 months of starting to box at age 15. So, and then from there, I became a national champion. With a few months after that, so I was a 2-time national champion before a year had even went past. So I learned real fast, and then after that was the Olympia year '96, and I made the Olympic team as an alternate at the 106 light flyweight division. And after that, I was forecasted to be the person to take the throne from the Tarvers and the Fernando Vargas and the Zab Judas and the Floyd Mayweathers on to the next Olympia, which would be 2000 Olympics.
So you were in an Olympic camp with who were you in an Olympic camp with? Floyd?
Yeah, this is the '96. This was the dream team, they call it. One of the best Olympic teams ever in the history of the sport. And that was Floyd Mayweather, Eric Morrell, Albert Guardado, Zaire Rahim. We had Mark Burst. We had Terrence Coffin. Zab Judah, Fernando Vargas, Tarver, Ronald Sims, Roshai Wells, rest in peace, Lawrence Claybay. We had a great team. '96 was a great team.
And so, do you feel like he was like one of the greatest amateurs that ever did it?
The '96 team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think '96 was. Yeah, I think you got to put it up against maybe the '76 team and the '84 team. I think those 3 years are probably the go down as the best, in my opinion.
Okay, I got some more questions too, but I'm gonna pass it over to Courtney and see if he has anything he wants to ask you before we continue.
Courtney, you have anything in mind?
Hey, Coach GT, how you doing, man? Hey, we're honored to have you on the show.
Thanks, brother. How you doing? I'm doing good.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear anybody now.
Good.
Can you hear me, GT?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, it's Courtney then.
Hey, Courtney, try reconnecting, and we'll take it from there. But we'll try to get back on with this.
There he goes.
So, Coach GT, you turned professional in 2000, and your first professional fight was in 2001, and I believe you signed a co-management deal with Floyd Mayweather and Jay Prince. What was the key highlights of being introduced to that relationship with that partnership with Floyd, especially? Can you give us a good rundown on that?
Yeah, me and Floyd, we actually met in 1995. So I was 16 years old, and he was 17. We're a year apart, and we met at a regional tournament in Peoria, Illinois. We're in the same region. He's from Michigan. I'm from Ohio, and I was just so happened to be sitting right in a chair from his current girlfriend at that time, and we're just watching the fights, and I'm watching him fight literally, and he's fighting a guy from Cincinnati, Lamar Nelson. Shout out to Rocky, and he beat our guy, and I wasn't. It was my very first time hearing about this Floyd Mayweather guy and seeing him in action, and I was impressed, and so he after the fight he came and sat down right in between us, and it was weird to experience that, and we kind of like, chopped it up a little bit, and I told him who I was. I told him that I had lost out to make it to the regionals. I had lost in the what you call them, locals or the state level
Right.
to like the veteran of our city, and he was much older than me. He was 20, I think 25, 26 at the time, and I was 16 years old. So I was just turning open. That's when you can be fighting 16-year-olds all the way up to 32-year-olds. And so I was just telling him about how, I didn't make the team, but I always come to, support my team and to watch, to learn, to get, more skills and more knowledge by observing. And basically we just kind of, shook hands and said, we'll see each other in the future. And so 96, a year later, I rose up to the level he was on, which is the elite level. And by winning 2 bids into the Olympic trials, which was the National Golden Gloves, we went on the same night together. I was a light flyweight, and he was the, what did you call it? I want to say junior lightweight. He was 125 pounds back then. And so we were on the same team, Olympic team, in the summer. And we got kind of cool there. Not too cool. We were never roommates. But, we were high on buys, and, we would cap on each other on the buses and sitting at the lunchroom tables for, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we got cool there. And we kind of stayed in touch from the Olympics all the way up until 2000. I called him and told him, back in the day, we had the telephones, the house landlines. You could call 411 or the 1-800 number where you can get like a directory. And I called and I asked to get connected to Las Vegas. And I asked for Floyd Mayweather, the name, and they tried to connect me, and it connected to his dad. I never met his dad, but I said this is one of his friends from the Olympic team, and I just want to tell you guys congratulations. They had just won their title, the first title, beating Jamel Hernandez, and I believe that was 97, 98ish. And so he relayed the message, and Floyd ended up having my number after that, and so we kind of kept in touch a little bit. He had called me to brag on his new cars that he was buying and stuff like that. And, I was still fighting amateur. So 2000 came around where I tried for the Olympic trials, and I lost in the finals of that. And I was waiting. So I was just sitting at home, my mom's house, just chilling, just waiting on my next move. Didn't know how things were going to go. And I got a call from, I don't know how they got my number or my mom's number, but I got a call from Frank Warren. And he was asking me to, sending me an offer to move to London and,
Wow.
And fight out of there. And, I had no friends over there. Of course, I traveled the world, fighting in different international competitions and stuff, but I didn't have any friends or any relatives or anything over there. So, I hung up the phone thinking, that's kind of like a stretch. I hope some more calls come through. I don't know how these calls are going to come through because I ain't giving out my number, but I'm just hoping for a good situation. And, I want to say that, the exact next day, I get a call from Floyd, and that's, I think he said Gerald. Nobody calls me Gerald, so he said Gerald. And I'm like, who is this? He said, young dude called me by my government name, because my nickname back then was Little Man. And so I was expecting to hear somebody say Little Man or Little Man. And so he said, this is Floyd. So, what's up, man? So, I still don't know what the call is about. And then he said, I got Jay on the line, and James Prince, much respect to him. Shout out to Jay. Well, we've been cool all these years from back then up to now. So much love to Jay. But he got on the phone and he said, this is Jay. I met Jay the year before in 1999 at a tournament in Houston going to watch. I went to watch after I won the Pan Am Gold, I went to watch the World Championships in Houston to support my teammate, Ricardo Williams Jr. He was fighting in the World Championships. And while down there, I bumped into James Prince, and because the tournament was in Houston, that's where Jay's from. So, we kind of shook hands, exchanged numbers and stuff like that. And I told him who I was. He seen me rocking my gold medal from the Pan American Games, and I guess that made him want to do business with me. But, so Jay got on the phone, and he said, what do you think about moving to Vegas, being up under Floyd's wing and living with him and turning pro with us? And I said, shoot, send a ticket. And I started packing up my jeans that night, and I remember having a big duffel bag full of blue jeans, Shine John blue jeans, no T-shirts, no drawers, no nothing, just a whole big bag of blue jeans. And that next morning, I was flying out to Vegas. That's how it all started.
That's awesome. That's awesome. For people that may not know the the scope of your professional record. You fought well from 2000 in 2001, 8 fights total, but there was a noticeable pause, and you returned in 2016. From what I know, you were Adrien Broner was a very pivotal in encourage you to get back, which yielded fight number 7, fight number 8. Can you share us what were the key points Adrien made to you that eventually had you getting back in the ring before retiring?
So I turned pro in 2000. The story I just told you guys when I flew from Cincinnati to Vegas, and I had I built my record to 5-0 with 3 knockouts, 1 draw, and the day before my last fight at the weigh-ins, I actually got a call from my father telling me that one of my brothers had been shot and killed in Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh, and so it was just me and Roger on that trip, and Roger Mayweather, of course, that was my trainer, and I wasn't sure. I wanted to hurry up home and get to to more with the family and stuff like that, and Roger had a talk with me, and he said, what would your brother want you to do in this situation? And would he want you to fight it? Would he want you to go straight home, to the family? And I thought about it, for a second in our hotel room. And I said he would want me to fight. He would want me to win the same way I won my last fight, and that was by first round knockout. And so he said, all right, well, let's do that shit then, GT. And my nickname became GT at that point. Floyd had nicknamed me GT in 2000. So this is 2001 I'm talking about. So I got in the ring. I fought the guy, and I dropped him 3 times with, I want to say, either overhands or pull counters in the first round. And that fight was ended the same way the last fight was, by 3 knockdowns in the first round, and the referee calling it. And so I got right on the plane, went to Cincinnati for to be with my family. And from there, it went years and years and years and years just passed. I didn't step foot into I didn't fly back to Vegas to continue training and building my record with Floyd or anything like that, being under his wing. I just stayed off, and I ended up getting back into the streets, which was a story before, into all of my amateur. I was kind of halfway in and halfway out, growing up in no excuses, but growing up in a rough neighborhood, and especially Cincinnati, Ohio, it's easy to fall into those traps and like having role models that are doing illegal things in the street. So I'm a great way to steer these young kids away from going into the streets. But anyway, so years and years passed, and I didn't walk a foot into a boxing gym until maybe 2007. So 6 years had went past because I didn't. It hurted. It was a part of me that I had to like kind of push to the side because I didn't get to finish and do it exactly the way I wanted to do it. But long story short, I went to the Zab Judah and Mayweather 24/7 series. Kind of hyped me up, and it made me move, get out of the game completely, the streets, and then move to Vegas to give boxing another try. Things didn't happen, right away. This time I'm moving to Vegas with a family, fiance, kids, and it's a different story when you're just you in a bag full of Sean John jeans, and then you go with a whole family now, with furniture and cars and all this kind of stuff. So it was a little hard to get off the ground and to get my feet back into the game like I wanted to. It was mostly jobs, that had to be worked to pay the bills and to provide food for the family. But I started training in like 2013-ish, 12-ish, somewhere around there. And on a trip to Cincinnati, Coach Michael Stafford, rest in peace, one of my late great coaches. He was like one of my third coaches. I had a main coach with Carter Williams Sr., but then he took me to my gym, and I got with Roy Dale Jr. and Ronald Craig Sr. Roy Dale Sr. and Ronald Craig Sr. And then Michael Stafford was like an extra coach. He would go out of town sometimes when my coaches couldn't go out of town. So Michael Stafford asked me to train 2 of his Olympians, who were Raynell Williams and Jamel Herring. Shout out to them. And Jamel ended up becoming a world champion. Shout out to Jamel. And while there, I had to do that for Coach Mike because he was training Adrien up in D.C. for his fourth world title against the Russian at 140. And when Mike and AB came back to camp, you know, I would hit the bag and stuff like that every now and then. I worked the mitts and with my fighters. I usually do everything with my fighters to keep in shape and show them that they got a workout partner and they got somebody that's willing to be in the trenches with them. So AB saw me hitting the bag, I believe, or maybe hitting the bag, and he was like, "Man, you still got it, GT. Like, you need to come on back and fight." Like, and he, you know, excuse my language, but he said, "Man, F these dudes." And he was talking about, you know, other fighters in the gym, like basically stop training these dudes, train yourself, and come on back to the sport. And I went back home. You know, of course, we coached Raynell and Jamel to 2 beautiful victories. But I went back home in Vegas after that, and I thought about it, and what he said made me come back out of retirement. And it was, 15, 16 years I was off.
That's awesome. And, you know, I noticed this about the first time, in my point of view, the first time you went in to fight professionally, and your second stint coming back, one big difference was that you had a support system now on your second go around. Just in general, speak about the importance of having that support system to provide you that foundation. You know, we see it in a lot. We see it in other fighters as well. We had on our previous episode, Ronnie Rios. He told us how his wife, his family, was a big reason he got back into the game. Your thoughts about the importance of having a good support system as far as family, your team around you to rebuild those foundations to get back in professionally.
Oh yeah, it was great, man. And it was also like, it was something for me to do too, for them, to show them that, you know, that never say never. You know, I had 4 kids, and, you know, and a wife, and so I had to show them, you know, that, you know, anything is possible. You know, I've been on break for 15, 16 years. Not on break, but I had retired for 15, 16 years, and all the odds are against me. I weigh 192, I'm 5'5", a cruiserweight. You know, that's ridiculous. And you know, but I'm gonna get this weight off, and I'm gonna get back in shape, you know, slowly and gradually. And I actually like show my whole journey, you know, every single day on Instagram. You know, day one, they show me running, I show my diet, I show what I would eat, I show how many times I went to the gym and stuff like that. So I built a huge following in the process. But my family was there. I don't know if they really wanted me to do it. Of course, they supported me through whatever they still do. But I'm not sure if they wanted me to do it. But just me knowing that I was teaching them grit and the never say never, and anything's possible, and that's whatever you put your mind to, you can do it and you can be it. That was really like the support that I felt from them. So even if, you know, the times that I felt like they really would have wished that I would just continue coaching and leave the sport alone, I used that as fuel to push me. And because it was hard, you know, 37, 38 years old, and you're going to the gym boxing 19, 20, 21-year-olds, you know, and it's no joke, and especially being away from the game so long. And, you know, I did years of not even walking into a gym, so let alone throwing punches or hitting bags or mitts or keeping sharp or sparring or nothing. I didn't even walk into a gym for like 6, 7 years, but 5 or 6 years, I'm sorry. But I also had the About Billions crew as pressure, you know, and wanting to make sure that I impressed Adrien, even though he was my not nephew, but my younger brother, you know, under Coach Mike. You know, we looked at him as like a second pops. And so I still wanted to impress him, and I wanted to make him proud, and, you know, not like he's wasting his time or his energy or even his hopes for me to get back into the sport. So the About Billions family, and then also the Tucker family, they were great. They were very instrumental and played huge roles and even my success today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, you know, it's great to have that, you know, it's a great up, you know, down up story. And it's a lot of people could take away from that, you know, to apply to their life, that, you know, there's always something to give, you know, as long as you put your will and your heart into it. You know, I want to take it back to your Camp of the Greats. You know, typical boxing gyms, especially here out in the States, you know, typically boxing coaches, before they even had their students train at the facility, they make them, do their jogs somewhere on the street level, sometimes mildly uphill. You, on the other hand, you have a unique situation. You have a lot of terrain, unique terrain to take advantage of. Share some share us share some um of the activities outside the training camp that that you do, especially when you harness nature to get that workout in for your students.
Really is just like the, I'm gonna say the greater you get, you can do something with anything, and you can turn it into making whatever you do better. And what I mean by that is like you can give, I just got done. Walked away from Floyd's corner in June, but you could put me and Floyd in, let's say, a closet, and we're gonna make something work. We're gonna get in shape. We're gonna, we're gonna be able to hit the mitts in there. We're gonna be able to do whatever. And so we don't really need much space. We don't need much, and we're gonna find ways to make our skills better in any ways possible. So give me a place like this where it's mountains and trees and waterfalls and rocks and hills and flat and you name it, and a whole bunch of rain or a whole bunch of snow, you name it, nature period. And we're gonna turn it into something special and make it movie-like, just like you see out of a scene out of Bloodsport or the movie Kickboxer or the Karate Kids and Creed, where and Rocky, where he goes off in the Russian mountains and trains. So I'm just one of those people. I'm really like a Mr. Miyagi, and we really don't need much. I'm an old school traditional trainer, and you could punch my hands. I don't even need mitts. So I'm old school, and yeah. As far as the terrain go, you name it, we got it. I'm 3,000 feet in the sky. They call it meters here, so I'm about 700 to 800 meters, somewhere in there, up in the sky. We're up in the clouds. Sometimes you see like straight to the ocean, Pacific Ocean behind me, and sometimes you just see nothing but clouds. And the clouds are actually in here in the dojo, because this is an open layout. And so yeah, I just know how to work with whatever it is, and like I said, you put me in the closet, and we'll make our skills better somehow, some way. So something like this, oh man, the possibilities are endless.
What's very cool that in an urban environment, as far as gyms, like the usual equipment that you would require there, you make that up with the natural resources basically you have out there in Costa Rica. So that's really awesome. It's really awesome. You know what? We have Courtney Tanner back on. Courtney, you got cut off, but you're back on with us. What? Any questions you're free to ask. Go ahead, Courtney.
Yeah. First question is, can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So sorry about that, Coach.
No problem.
What I was wanting to ask you before we got cut off is, we've gone over your amateur accolades, with you being the only medalist in the 99 Pan Am Games, and being on that great story.
Not the only medalist, the only gold medalist. We have some silvers and some bronzes.
Okay. And being a part of that storied team in '96 and almost making that 2000 Olympic team. And we're just coming off an Olympic cycle with the Olympics in Paris, and a very disappointing showing for the U.S. team at that Olympics. And I just wanted to ask you, with your amateur background, your amateur accolades, and what you're doing now as a coach in the pro game, and setting up your own infrastructure in a remote location in a foreign country like Costa Rica. I want to get your take on what is your take on the U.S. amateur system right now, and why it's, for all these intents and purposes, broken and not producing the same results as it was when you were a part of it.
I think I actually don't like it. And what I'm telling fighters now, and I think it's the problem with what's going on, is that fighters are in a rush to turn pro, and they need to stick around in the amateurs as long as possible. Back in the day, just for an example, in '96 team, we had Ronald Sims. I want to say he was 31 years old at the time, and we had Antonio Tarver. I want to say he was 28 years old at the time. And, you know, me and Fernando were the youngest on the team. I was 17, Fernando was 18, Floyd was 19. You know, we were really, you know, we were the youngest, but, you know, we could have stayed, you know, a little bit longer. But, yeah, I think these fighters, they're turning pro too soon. They're, and I don't know the reasons why. Maybe it's money, you know, because that was the reasons why, you know, in the past years before these Olympics. But I think people are turning pro too soon. And, you know, because some of these guys, let's say, for instance, let's say the Vargas sons, you know, Fernando Vargas' sons, let's say they were still amateur. You know, we would have a shot at some goals. You know, let's say that Keyshawn Johnson would have stayed around. Not Keyshawn Johnson. What's Keyshawn's last name? Davis.
Davis, yeah.
Yeah, let's say Kid Austin. Let's say he was stuck around. You know, we have shots at you know, Olympic goals. But the kids are turning pro too soon. And I think it happened with they started bringing in different coaches from different countries to teach our amateur elites. And so I want to say, you know, and I don't know for sure, but I think there was an Irish guy named Walsh that came in after us, and he was put there to teach the American fighters. You know, I don't understand that, because, you know, the Americans, you know, we're known for being dominant in you know, amateur boxing rankings. You know, it was us, Cuba, let's go, who was Russia, Ukraine. You know, we were like the top. You know, Germans had, you know, they were decent, but we were at the top. You know, Ireland wasn't nowhere near that at the top. So I don't know why they went and got an Irish coach, you know, to coach the Americans. You know, we're the style, we got the swag. You know, other countries want to fight like us, they want to be like us. I don't know why we went out and, you know, what is it called, and imported a coach from somewhere else. I think that was a problem. But yeah, I think it's all in the USA Boxing. You know, they have to take the fault. You know, it's all on them. They need to do some restructuring, and they need to have people like me and like you, and to sit down and come up with a plan so that we can dominate again. You know, in the amateur sports, because and also it'll make the pros that much easier, that much funner. We'll have more Shakur Stevenson-like fighters to compete, you know, because in the Andre Ward type fighters to compete, we'll have those type of stars to look forward to. The Oscar De La Hoyas, you know, who did good in the Olympics, and you know, they were amateur stars, and they become professional stars as they grow. But the difference in this is just a point I like to make to fighters who ask me if they should turn pro and stuff like this. Like, once you get the international level competition, like once you start to fight them and sparring them, and, you know, regularly, it makes the pros that much easier. So this is what I tell fighters: to get as much amateur experience as possible. Do not turn pro just because you need some money. There's other ways to get money. You can also get paid while you're amateur. And even though it seems like the amateurs are slipping further and further away, it's still no reason to turn pro. You still can get the experience that you need, you know, as an amateur, and you don't have to lose some of the losses you may take in the pros. You can lose in the amateurs and gain and learn from it, and then never lose in the pros, you know, like some of your undefeated favorite fighters. So yeah, I think a lot has to be done, but it's sad of what happened to our status as a nation in the Olympics. You know, as far as boxing goes, we were the top, and some of them we were the best, and we were feared, we dominated, and you know, of course, cheating, you know, incompetent judges and bad scoring and politics had something to do with this as well. But still, it's up to the fighters to you know, stick around and don't just give up and quit and go turn pro just because you see other people doing it. You know, get the experience, gain the experience. It'll make you a better fighter. It'll make you a better person. You know, you'll mature. It's like going to college. It's like, you know, some people can just go from high school straight to the league, you know, but everybody shouldn't, you know, and everybody thinks they can.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you. I got a follow-up question, and this is not boxing related, but it has to do with your circumstance, and we were trying to accomplish on the show a while back. Shout out to my man Gamezilla. He was supposed to be on as a guest panelist on us with us previously, talking about the Black travel movement and people, particularly in the Black community, minority communities, thinking about and contemplating living lives overseas. And you're doing that in the midst of that and thriving with that right now. What advice would you give to people who are looking to make the same move that you've made, and are doing very well? What are some of the pitfalls they might run into? What are some of the things to consider and think about if you are seriously considering taking the leap and moving to another country?
I don't know if this no, I'm a very, very strong person. I've been through a lot, and like I said, tell some of my story, but single parent household, um, dad, child support, one of those kind of upbringings, and everybody isn't as tough as me, and so to do it by myself was kind of hard. Some people would call it lonely. I'm not lonely because I'm strong-minded, but I'm sure that most people in my situation would consider it lonely. I can go and make friends and stuff like that, but I'm on a journey to where I'm trying to create a better version of myself for the sport, to make the sport better as a whole. And so my situation is a little different, but for the average American citizen trying to do something like this, I would say to research it. I did my thorough research before. I had about 13 different countries, and I looked at all of them, and the cost of living in some of them, and the rules and regulations and how things are different from the States and the same. So I would say research. I would say of course mentally you want to prepare for worst case scenario, best case scenario, somewhere in between. For how things are gonna go, the whole way. Once you get here, like for me, for instance, the very first day I got here, I rented a truck, and the GPS to get to my first Airbnb was it was on Waze, and I took the road and I got stuck in a river, and the river started. The rain came down, and I had to call the fire truck to get rescued. So I was in the river, and the truck was being engulfed in water, and the water was up to the windows, where I had to finally call and get help to get saved and rescued. It pitch black dark in the river, trying to cross the river in a 4x4. So for the typical person, they would have flew home that same night and never came back. But I stuck with it and stuck through it, and here I am now. But I would say research. Of course, expect. Be ready for worst case, best case scenarios, and set like a rule. My rule was 1 year. I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna bow out or get scared. I'm gonna stay at minimum a year, and I'm past the year already. So that's what I recommend for sure.
Hey, well, thank you. We appreciate it, and hey, best of luck to you, man. Best of luck to you, and God bless in your endeavors out there, and not only in living and starting a new life out there, but also breathing new life into other people and fighters. And thank you for doing what you're doing. And I'm gonna pass you back to the host, Aaron Soria.
Thanks, brother.
Awesome, thanks, Corny. You know what, Coach GT, I want to get your boxing analysis on point here in this live stream. Tomorrow we got the big fight, Better Be versus Bivol. Give us give us your rundown of that fight, how you see it happening, and ultimately who you picking to win and in what fashion.
To be honest, I've never really seen either one of them fight much. I seen Bivol fight Canelo in just bits and pieces. I forget what was going on, but sometimes I'm not able to catch the fights. But and I haven't seen much of Better Be as well. But I did go and watch some, because I had a guess that you were gonna ask, for my opinion on this. And of course, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen much of them, but from what I've seen of them, I would say that stylistically, Bivol has a better shot at winning. I think Better Be makes a lot of mistakes. with his feet, and but it's not mistakes on their part because he's been doing it since the amateurs. But for me, it's a mistake, fundamental mistake, and he crosses stances, and it don't look like intentional all the time. So I think that Bivol is better fundamentally, and the way the styles match up, I think that he should win on an outside range fight. I'm curious to see how Beterbiev is gonna make his way in, and how he's gonna, and then how Bivol is gonna defend the infighting, because that can change the things. That can change my outcome. If Bivol has no infight defense, and Beterbiev starts to land a couple of shots here and there, and it don't have to be in combination. It just have to be one here, one there. Because of the power he has, and it can change the way the fight goes all the way around. But I have, if I was to pick something just off of what I've seen, and of course I wouldn't bet anything. I'm not a gambler, but obviously I haven't researched enough. I just seen a couple highlights, and I just Beterbiev, and I seen just maybe two or 3 minutes worth of Bivol, and much respect to them fighters. That's just not the styles that I prefer to watch. I'm more of like if it was basketball, I like to watch Iverson and Jamal Crawford, versus the San Antonio Spurs or something like that. I'm more of a flashy, type of guy for my taste in the sport. So that's the reason why I haven't watched much of them, and I haven't faced one of them. Been on the opposing corner, going up against them. But I would pick Bivol. And I would say like a 70-30 chance of winning.
On our previous 2 episodes ago, Courtney shared those same sentiments as you did. The counterpoint to that, and I want to get your reaction to that point, is we had Gary Kittleson on. He's picking Beterbiev, and his side was, Beterbiev has a unique knockout ratio, very notable. And he said that, and I'm just quoting, I'm just rewording that, Bivol would have to be perfect essentially all 12 rounds, to make that win happen. But do you believe Bivol could rise to that occasion of being to having that masterclass of performance all 12 rounds, given what Beterbiev is all about? Your thoughts on that?
You're asking me if he's gonna have to have a perfect 12 rounds, or
yeah. If Bivol would have to have a masterclass performance, given the background of Beterbiev's his reputation of being a knockout artist, and he's coming in with that pressure as always. And also to note, Bivol, he threw a lot of. I remember when Bivol fought Canelo. One major reason Bivol was very pivotal in that fight. Bivol had to keep that constant. He had to throw a lot of punches against Canelo to keep Canelo in his place, and he's gonna have to do that against Beterbiev. And Beterbiev is not Canelo. Putting it in the context of that weight division. So I just want to get your take on that aspect of that fight.
I don't think he have to be perfect all 12 rounds. I think we're dealing. I want to say Bivol is. To me, body wise, he looks bigger or as big, as Beterbiev and so I don't think he's gonna have to keep him up all 12 rounds. I think he's just gonna have to box a smart fight and fight the little battles wisely. Especially like in the inside or even mid range, he should try to stay away from that, and keep him at the end of the straight punches. And I don't think he's gonna have to have a perfect fight, but I think he's just gonna have to be conscious of momentum gaining done by Beterbiev. And I think he should have I think he should have an easy fight, and maybe even score like a frustration knockout, by depleting Beterbiev's his spirit, from not being able to get in, through the straight punches and not being able to get in and causing any serious damage. I think, the spirit, like I say, I haven't watched him enough, but in these type of situations, a long range, boxer with, above average power like a Bivol can keep a fighter like him at bay and can frustrate them enough to where, enough rounds to where they kind of give up, internally, and they're not really tired, they're not hurt, but their spirit drains because they don't feel like they have the opportunity or the hope or the possibility of coming back and coming back up the scorecards and getting a knockout victory. So I don't think he has to be perfect. I think he just needs to be conscious of what his opponent is doing, and making sure that he doesn't get into a rhythm of it or anything like that.
Awesome. Great thoughts, analysis on that, Coach GT. Before we end it, I want to go to Tiffany. Any last words, comments, or even last questions you want to share with Coach GT, or anything about what he said as far as the Bivol better be fight? Go ahead, Tiffany.
I ain't touching better be Bivol. I don't even remember what my analysis was the last time, because I think, didn't I say something about him being like, he's like 40 years old and he's coming off an injury. I don't know.
Who 40 years old?
Better Beav is up there, like he in his late 30s or something. Yeah, like how old is that dude, Courtney? He's 40? Is he 40?
I don't think he's quite 40, but he's close to it. He's close to it.
So, and he had the injury, and I don't know. So I don't remember what I said the last time.
It's not just their injury also. I mean, Better Bev has been pretty injury prone these last few years. Like I think on one episode I'd seen he's pretty much the D Rose of boxing at this point.
Right, you say that.
But yeah, I mean, me being 40 myself and trying to get back in better shape, it's you know what I'm saying, it's a process. It's a process. And granted, these are professional athletes who've been doing this since knee high, but I mean, you got to think about the level you're at, also trying to deal with these injuries and trying to come back and return to form. You know, I just think that's pretty daunting against a dude like Bivol, who just moves as well as he does and who just sees the ring and the angles at the same level he does. I think it's going to take more than just dumb power to negate that. You know, and listen, I was a firm believer with Wilder that, that right hand was God gifted and it could find anybody at any time. But what about when it doesn't? And I think ultimately that's what we're about to see in this Better Be It versus Bivol fight.
Did you see him doing those push-ups on his wrist? Did y'all see that? That was crazy. But anyway, getting back to you. You have Camp of the Grace training camp, but you also have a nonprofit. You want to tell anybody about the nonprofit or any other things that you have going on, like the virtual stuff that you also have?
Oh yeah, well I have we're creating an app right now. Me and my new personal assistant, we're creating an app for whoever, for boxers, for trainers, and for regular Joe Blows who want to learn self-defense and stuff like that. I'm going to teach like from the ground up. I mean, from like your first day walking into the gym until fighting like Floyd or Claressa, different skills and, different mindsets to have and, road work and dieting and, everything, just basically everything I've learned in the 3 decades, over 3 decades that I've been in the sport. I'm going to make it available on an app-like service and website based. And, you'll have each individual, they'll have their own dashboard and they'll have, what they're working on and what they want to work on. They can reach out. They can ask me for tips. They can pick my brain. We'll do live sessions, training sessions where I'm there watching them train, just like this phone call here, but they'll have like headsets on or a Bluetooth speaker where I can tell them, jab and get your elbows in and, hands up and stuff like that to where, I'm basically their assistant coach from afar. And I've done that. I already started that out with a few people and it's going good so far. So we're about to make it available to the rest of the world. And here soon, the website is already up. We just got to upload it to the internet, and then everybody can come in and pick their subscription. It's got to be 3 different levels. There's the greatest plan, there's a greater plan, and there's a great plan. And for 3 different people, 3 different prices. Not 3 different people, but for 3 different prices, a different tier, the subscription you want to pick. But as far as the nonprofit, that's brand new. That website is also being designed. We got a lot of stuff coming up with that. Like we're gonna take gyms that need like new equipment, and we're gonna redo the whole gym from scratch to brand new. If somebody if there's a young fighter that deserves to have his own personal gym in their garage, we're gonna go and we're gonna do that for them. It's a whole bunch of programs, but I also want to get more people here. So we're gonna fundraise to get more people, fighters, trainers, regular Joe Blows, to be able to come visit the camp and go through the mini camps that I give. There's 5-day mini camps here at the camp, and like I say, you can be a fighter, you can be a trainer, you can be a fan, and you can come experience it firsthand. If you want to be a better trainer, we'll teach that way. I'll put on the gloves and you'll be the trainer, and I'll teach you timing and where to hold the mitts, what not to do, what to do. And so I'm just the nonprofit, we're going to speak about that. I want to say in a week and a half that site should be uploaded, and we will be taking in donations and fundraising for the different programs and ideals that I have to give back to the world, not just the sport, but to the world. Because when you teach somebody and make somebody better and greater at whether it's physically, mentally, or spiritually, it ripples out. People feel that those positive vibes, from that person or from watching the training or whatever, and it just makes the world a better place to live in, one individual at a time. So I got a lot up my sleeve. I'm a very positive person, super optimistic, and I just plan on making the sport better as a whole. I didn't just come into the sport to make my fighters better. I wanted to make the sport better as a whole. I had a crazy story. A fighter died in my arms, when I was a trainer. It wasn't my fighter, but he was somebody I knew real well in the gym. So I want to make the sport better, and I'm going to come out with a book that's going to teach. It's going to be kind of like the Bible of boxing, and it's going to teach the fundamentals from day one all the way up into the elite skills. And so I got a lot coming, man, and it's so much that I can't even say it right now, man. I'm just one of those ideal dudes, and I'm just trying to spit them out, as they come.
If anybody need to get in contact with you, like if they wanted to come to camp or donate, how do they get in touch with you?
The best way right now would be to send a DM to my Instagram page of Camp of the Greats, and or you can email Let's Chat, that's LETSCHAT at campofthegreats.com. That's the email inbox to where we're processing all of the people who want to try out the subscription services before it becomes an app, website-based app, and people can they can inquire about the fees, and we even got freeway for people to come to camp. So you can come for free. So if you want to send a DM to campofthegreats.com, we'll get right back to you. Also, if you're in the mood to donate, you can email us at letschat@campofthegreats.com or send a DM, and then we'll send you the information that way as well.
Awesome. And I'll be sure to in the post edit in the YouTube description, we'll provide that information as well. To help spread the word out further out there on what you're doing with Camp of the Greats. So great stuff. Courtney, any last words, thoughts you want to share with Coach GT? Go ahead, Courtney.
Oh, this is for our viewers at large. I think anybody who's tuned into the show for the past few years knows that I'm big on fostering boxing at the local level, especially with the youth. So I would just implore everybody who's tuned in today to support this brother and what he's trying to do in his movement. And I'm glad that we can give him a platform, and we can, as we advance our movement, we can bring people along with us and advance theirs too. And I'm a firm, but yeah, if you listen to the interview and you listen to what Coach GT is saying, I think the thread that's been drawn throughout this entire hour is that he's a man whose boxing has saved his life and has continued to save his life at various points. And when these kids walk into these gyms for the first time at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, we really have to be of the mind that very few of them are going to go on to win a gold medal. Very few of them are going to go on to be professional boxers and win world championships. that's never what it's about. It's about using boxing as this platform and this medium to enhance and to improve the lives of people, particularly our young people, and particularly minority youth in the inner cities. And we have to support people like Coach GT in their endeavors and what they're doing. So I would just encourage people to get involved, link up with them, reach out, and just help him to grow and advance his movement, so that he can continue to play a major role in shaping the development of the youth and making these youth into better men and women and individuals that are going to better serve our society. So thank you once again, Coach GT, for what you're doing. And if you're locked in with us, like I know so many of you are, please get involved and please do what you can and give what you can to Coach GT's his movement and what he's got going on down there in Costa Rica.
Awesome. Thank you, Corny. Very well said. Coach GT, before we close out, any last thoughts, shout outs, last thoughts? Go ahead, Coach. The podium is yours.
I guess I'd say thanks for having me. I appreciate this. It's been a while. I kind of cut back on these things since I walked away from Floyd's corner, but I know they got to start up again. I know I got to get back into the mix, and AB called me yesterday, and he's getting ready. They promised him something. I think he's gonna announce it to the world soon. So you'll see the Cloud and Ray show. That was what we called me and AB's training camp. But I got it ready after the Pacquiao fight. We called it the Cloud and Ray AB show, and we're two funny characters together. And I'm gonna do my best to get him back to where he needs to be. And that's, like I say, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Because a lot of people they miss AB and they want to see the AB that they know he can be. And I'm not one of those people who throw people in the trash can. Like I said, I even came out of the trash can at 15, 16 years off. And so I believe that I got what it takes, and I can pull it out of AB to make him, give his last run a real good shot at it, so there's no regrets. Of course he got regrets from, some of the stuff that happened in the past, but from the moment I step foot into his house and we start training, I don't want there to be no more regrets from that point on. So we'll need prayers, we'll need positivity, and just optimism for me to help bring AB to becoming an AB that he always needed to become, that he always could have became. And I'm not counting him out. I'm going to push him as hard as you could push a person. And I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Well, that's going to be it for episode 113 of the Standing 8 podcast. I want to thank my co-host, Tiffany Daniels, First Lady of Boxing, Courtney the Burt Brown Sugar, brought out there, always representing, and also the man of the hour, Coach GT, owner of the Camp of the Greats, Gerald, GT the Greatest Tucker. Thank you for affording us your time to be on this show. We look forward to seeing how you continue to expand this movement, Camp of the Greats. So thank you again. And also, that's going to be it. I'm Aaron Soria from Los Angeles. Thank you, everyone, listeners, viewers of this live stream. Be sure to catch Camp of the Greats on Instagram. We'll provide the links in the YouTube description in the post edit. Again, have a great night, everyone. Peace out.